Introducing Ectolife, the world's first artificial womb facility, powered entirely by renewable energy. Ectolife allows infertile couple to conceive a baby and become the true biological parents of their own offspring. It's a perfect solution for women who had their uterus surgically removed due to cancer or other complications. With Ectolife, premature births and C-sections will be a thing of the past. Ectolife is designed to help countries that are suffering from severe population decline, including Japan, Bulgaria, South Korea, and many others. The facility features 75 highly equipped labs. Each state-of-the-art lab can accommodate up to 400 growth pods or artificial wombs. Every pod is designed to replicate the exact conditions that exist inside the mother's uterus. A single building can incubate up to 30,000 lab-grown babies per year. Ectolife allows your baby to develop in an infection-free environment. The pods are made of materials that prevent germs from sticking to their surfaces. Every growth pod features sensors that can monitor your baby's vital signs, including heartbeat, temperature, blood pressure, breathing rate, and oxygen saturation. The artificial intelligence-based system also monitors the physical features of your baby and reports any potential genetic abnormalities. The pods are equipped with a screen that displays real-time data on the developmental progress of your baby. These data are sent directly to your phone so you can track your baby's health from the comfort of your zone. The app also provides you with a high-resolution live view of your baby's development. A special section in the app allows you to watch a time-lapse of your baby's growth and share it directly with your loved ones.
You give an inch to the Russians, they'll take a mile. Every single time you do a good deed toward the Russians, they will abuse you for it. You know, they will take it from you. And they've always done that. They've always done it to us. They've done it to you. They've done it to everybody. And we need to stop making the same mistake. You know, it's the classic, you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You know, we need to stop getting fooled by Russia. You know, I mean, Russia has not changed in mentality. It's not changed in identity form since basically, you know, the Mongols. I mean, it's extremely slight in the way that it's changed, you know. Maybe one day there is a successor state that, you know, there can be some level of reconciliation with Ukraine once Russia recognizes its historic crimes, including the crimes of World War II, including starting World War II. You got to get past the whole great patriotic war fantasy and recognize the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact and in that they were allied with the Nazis in starting World War II. But maybe after all of that, there can be reconciliation. But that's a long way in the future, and we got to address Russia as it is today, which is a colonial empire that has over and over and over again thrown the world, thrown its neighborhood, thrown us into instability in order to pursue its colonial aims. Russia's a big lie, right? I mean, Russia's amazing advantage. Like, look, Russia's military is a joke. I mean, it exists to kill, rape, steal. It exists, like, what Russia's whole strategy is that they lie to you, they destabilize your system internally through corruption, through
on your own.
Oh, well,
Well. Good evening, John.
Good evening, Ben.
How are you this evening, this fine, warm, lovely spring evening?
Tired. I'm tired, mate. Tired.
Well, I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. And I commend you, sir, for even being here this wonderful Wednesday night. And are you going to be here tomorrow night as well?
Yeah. Tomorrow I'm doing it with Ed. We're doing
Yes,
Princess Diana.
John and Ed do die.
When I say we're doing Princess Diana, obviously we're not doing her. But
that would be necrophilia, John.
Oh, I think that would be gross, mate, by this point in time. Yeah. But anyway, it's what would you call it? It's Princess Di, Queen of Hearts, or just a tart?
Well, that's for you and Ed to go down that rabbit hole. So join them tomorrow night on Down the Rabbit Hole. I shall be away watching Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and I will actually start posting video reviews of that, not only to Real Reviews, the other channel, but also to my Twitter account for subscribers only. So we shall see.
So I do want to mention that was a concept video from Ecto Life or whatever it is. That's I
did want to talk about that.
Yeah, it's a concept video.
Yeah, it's not reality. Terrifying.
It's not reality yet.
It's a terrifying concept. It really is. And what it does is it takes us further down that road to becoming those people in WALL-E.
Yeah, I can't think that would do development of a child any good to have no stimulation. No,
because a child, whilst it's developing, gets to know its mother's voice, perhaps its father's voice if they're still in the home.
Music.
It gets music. It gets to know your mother's breathing.
Yeah.
And it said, like, your baby will be grown in a sterile environment, infection-free. That's bad. That's bad because things get passed on from the mother if you maybe develop a late-stage immunity to something, because, let's face it, our bodies are constantly being attacked by some form of something or another.
That's why if you have the choice, ladies, well, I don't even know if I can say that these days, can I? But if you have the choice, always go for a vaginal birth.
Yeah, unfortunately, my wife did not have the choice. Our son was born prematurely and via emergency cesarean section, then our daughter was born through. They made her have a C-section because she'd already had one.
Once you've had one, they try and make you do it all the time. I think because when you get down the birth canal, you get coated in vaginal mucus, which gives you quite a good boost to your immune system, apparently. Yay!
Well, that's.
Let's hear it for vaginal mucus.
That's one way to get demonetized, John.
Why? It's a medical fact. It's quite commonly known. I don't think that should be a problem. A lot
of medical facts you can't say on this platform.
Well, I don't think there'd be any problem with that. That's like it's the miracle of birth. Good grief, man.
Oh dear. But no, yeah, it's absolutely terrifying. I hope that something like that never comes to pass, and people might say, oh, that's, it could be a good thing for women who can't have children, for example. And I can see that argument to an extent, because obviously there are, unfortunately, some women who cannot conceive children and they would love to have their own natural children. But at the same time, it's just sort of terrifying because you don't know what they could be doing to your baby in that lab.
But it's not that. It's like everything else. When you start going down this route, people just start abusing it.
Of course they do. And these sorts of things, and it happens again and again and again, they're sold to you as if they're for your good, for the good of humanity, for this, but they're not. And at the end of the day, for all you know, what's happening there, if it were to become a reality, is just eugenics.
Yeah.
It's just, they're going to create...
Yeah, it could well be. Could well be. Anyway, tell me, I saw something in the chat about a controlled explosion at Buckingham Palace. So was the king having a last ham shank?
Right. So what happened? This was yesterday, and the best way to see it, and I say see it, you just hear it, is to watch Jacob Rees-Mogg on GB News, because they're in a porter cabin just outside Buckingham Palace, and they were doing their GB News piece. They were reporting Mogg being Mogg. And then all of a sudden, they're going, the police are looking in the door. They're telling us we have to evacuate. And then all of a sudden, you just hear an explosion behind them. And Jacob just sits there, does not flinch, and goes, that sounds like the police just did a controlled demolition. Yes, a controlled explosion.
Well, why are they in a porter cabin outside Buckingham Palace?
Because it's GB News, mate.
Yeah, but that's not where they broadcast from normally, is it?
No, I don't think so. But I think they'd already been urged across there because something was going on. So I think they'd already been ushered across, and so they were broadcasting. But it's just how sort of in his stride Mogg took it. He didn't flinch. Yeah. He didn't jump or anything. It just sounds like the police have just done a controlled explosion, and we have to come off air now because they're telling us we have to evacuate. Just took it in his stride. But what happened was...
Yeah. Go on.
It seems a crazy man threw some shotgun cartridges into the palace grounds.
Well, maybe he thought Charlie was looking for them.
Perhaps. Could well be. But why would you throw shotgun cartridges?
No idea.
Over a fence?
No idea.
I don't. Officers said that after a search, a knife was found on him, but he did not possess a gun. A precautionary controlled explosion was carried out outside the palace, with the man held on suspicion of possession of an offensive weapon. That's basically... Cordons were also put up after the man was found with a...
I wonder what they blew up then.
They blew up his shotgun shells. They blew up his shotgun shells.
What for?
I don't know.
No, that's just has the makings of nonsense. It just sounds like nonsense.
It has the makings to me of the police going, all right, lads, this is a chance to actually make it look like something's going on here. Let's blow up them shotgun shells, shall we? It's basically what it looks like.
Yeah. Okay. With that, I'd like to welcome everyone to this Chasing Dissent, episode 218, with me, John, and with Ben, in that proud land known as England.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave.
Well, there you go.
There you go indeed. Just had about enough time to itch my nose and pour a drink. I think I might be allergic to something in here, because Christ, I am flaring up. But it's bad.
But you've been in this... Right, why would you suddenly become allergic to something?
Because I have horrible hay fever, and it's spring. So, hay fever's technically an allergy. And,
so you're allergic to...
the air.
Well, pollen.
Yeah.
And that's really got nothing to do with what's in your shed, other than that pollen would have got in.
Yeah.
So what you need is air filtration.
Antihistamines.
Or air filtration and HEPA filters. You need a bunker, that's what you need. You need to live underground like a little troglodyte.
That sounds like fun to me. It's not a shed, that's absolutely right, Spencer. It isn't a shed.
I never said it was a shed. Nobody, who mentioned shed? Spencer's the first one to bring it up. No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. Watch your back.
I thought I'd taken pains not to call it. Well, it's a shed, for goodness sake. It's a shed by any other name.
It's a summer house.
Oh my. Well, it's not really a summer house. Summer houses have windows. How many windows have you got?
Well, it depends.
How many windows have you got?
Define window.
Well, glass, glazed, and you can look out and see things.
Well, there are two outside. In here, glazed windows.
No. Can you look out your windows and see things externally?
I put
No.
extremely large and thick planks of wood over them, John.
Yeah, so it's a shed. It's not a summer house. You can call it anything you like, but it's not a summer house anymore. It's a shed.
Fucking expensive shed.
You swore.
I know you forced me to.
I didn't.
You pushed me.
Stop
You
it.
did. You emotionally pushed me there. You crippled me emotionally, and this is what I have to deal with, ladies and gentlemen. You should hear him when we're off air. It's scary sometimes. Scary.
Moi. Right. What are you going to talk to me about tonight? What are we going to talk about? Well, what shall we talk about?
Where do you want to start? There, I've sent you a fair few things on throughout the day. We could start with the title, I guess.
So they reckon. Well, the West reckons that somebody tried to assassinate Putin. Yeah. No, the Kremlin said someone tried to assassinate Putin.
Yes.
Zelensky said he had nothing to do with it.
But of course he's going to say that. He said that Russia bombed Poland.
Well, Zelensky's not even in Ukraine just now. So that makes
Where is he now?
Well, he went to Finland, didn't he?
Oh,
And then he's not immediately returning to Ukraine. So I don't know where he's going after Finland. He went to Finland for the day. So the question, that begs the question, doesn't it? If you're going to try and assassinate Putin and you fail, would you not be where you were expected to be the next day?
Well, no, definitely not.
So
Did you see the video? Have you seen the drones?
All signs, well, no, but all signs point to Zelensky.
Right. So I sent you the video. You can see it in our chat. Right. These two piddly piss poor drones come flying over the roof of the Kremlin and blow up, one after the other.
Yeah.
So there were two obvious kamikaze drones. Now, we can speculate, right? We can speculate. You say all signs point to Zelensky, but they must have been launched from within Russia, I would say, because they are piddly piss poor drones. They're not massive things. They're almost like DJI things.
Yeah, okay, but they could have been launched by special forces.
Oh, you're not wrong. There could be anti-Putin protesters on the Russian side that did it. Didn't they recently blow up a cafe?
Yeah, they need to be well equipped to have kamikaze drones. Well, it depends what these drones are. I mean, let's face it. Some of the stuff that Ukraine's been using looks like DJI stuff with a hand grenade strapped to it. I mean, it looks pretty poor.
That's basically what these look like, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think it's a false flag. I don't think there's any reason. I mean, I don't think there's any reason for Russia to escalate something that they have a firm control over at the moment.
But remember, if you're to believe what we're being told on the TV, then Russia doesn't have a firm control over it all. But we have to look at this with open minds because, we don't really know what the truth is. We don't. You don't. I don't. People watching, we don't know what the truth is, and we won't know what the truth is because of the fog of war. And the fog of war is real. But
well, I mean, you saw what happened the other night. Did you? When when Russia took out 9 brigades and over 1,000 men and blew up 200 tons of ammunition. And boy, oh boy, did you see the explosion? Wow! Did you see the video?
I mean, I no, I haven't. But
do you remember the videos of the old atomic bombs when the houses disappeared and things like that?
Yeah.
It was a bit like that. It was a security camera on a house, and you could see this big whoosh flash, right? And then it went. The flash died down, and you could see that something was still burning in the distance, And then everything just went white. Okay, everything went white. You couldn't see a thing. And then as the the light died down. Everything, it looked like daylight for an instant. And then it died back down, and then bang! A shockwave came through, and like the greenhouse was, the cameras bouncing around, you know. So it was that was one big explosion, really big.
Yeah, and the thing is, like I said, the reality of the situation is nobody really knows what's going on down there. Who's winning, who's losing. We can speculate. We can certainly speculate, and I would speculate that it's probably not as cut and dry as the mainstream media tell you, because they don't know. They don't. And this is the thing. This is what annoys me about the mainstream media and their calls to ban or censor or silence misinformation, really, because how can they know what is misinformation, especially when it comes to a situation like this? They can't.
See, this whole censorship thing is crazy, because it's like, it really is like the Ministry of Truth, because if you remember the Falklands War, right?
Right.
So what's his name? That guy, Hanrahan, didn't he? He was one of the guys that was on the ship. He was one of the journalists. He was the guy that went, I counted them out and counted them back, you know. And it was all very jingoistic and patriotic and all that, because we were frightened to get the Falklands back. But they would report on everything that happened that day. You know, 3 British planes were downed, 1 landed on a freighter. Did you hear about that? The Harrier jump pilot who got lost and landed on a freighter because he was running out of fuel and couldn't find the aircraft carrier. So he landed on a freighter and ended up in the Azores. I think he did that deliberately. I think it was a classic. Well, sod this. I don't want to get shot down.
Sod this. I'm out. Ladies and gentlemen, I appear to be running out of fuel.
Oh, there's a handy freighter. I'll just land on top of those containers.
Just land on top of those containers. I appear to be running out of fuel.
He did make a bit of a hash of it, though. The plane was like... So anyway... So he ended up in the Azores for the rest of the conflict. But yeah, you get told everything. When a Navy ship was sunk, you know, you saw it. When the Belgrano was sunk, you get told like it's sunk. When Sir Galahad, you know, the RAFA, you know, the one that, what's his name, that guy, Simon, what's his name? The guy that got all burnt.
I was not alive during that.
Oh, right. Well, when Sir Galahad got hit and caught fire and, you know, You get told all that. You get told everything on both sides. So why now suddenly can we only know one side's information and have to believe that's the single source of truth? This is the part I don't get. Are we suddenly so incompetent and so unable to process information that we have to be drip-fed and spoon-fed? In fact, just put an IV in me and send the information directly into my bloodstream. You know, because that's what it's like. It is. It's like Wall-E gets closer and closer every day.
It really does. And it is terrifying. It is concerning. Because you're right, these people are acting like a ministry of truth. They are increasingly, these media brands are creating this position, this Orwellian position of misinformation specialist.
Well, Jacinda Ardern is favourite to be given this role for the country of the UK.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Well,
she's not even a British citizen.
But we've got one. We've already got one. Her name is Mariana.
No. Mariana works for the BBC. Jacinda's going to work for the government.
Oh, Jesus Christ. But still, they're creating this position of misinformation specialists. And what this does is it tells you that this person, this misinformation specialist, is the only one that knows the real truth. If you don't believe this person and what this person utters and what this person says, then it's not the truth. And that is both terrifying and dangerous. It is extremely dangerous. It's dangerous to democracy, if there even is such a thing anymore. It's dangerous to the idea of freedom, the freedom of thought, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, because then it tells you, it puts you in a box and it says, you aren't allowed to question this. You aren't allowed to question this person. And of course you are. You're allowed to question absolutely everything. And we encourage you to question what we say.
Yeah, we encourage you, but it's corporatism gone mad, isn't it? Because if you think about it, everybody is driving this, but more than anything, it's media platforms like YouTube, Google, Facebook, Twitter, Twitter not so much now, but it used to. And all these platforms are driving you to only accept the single source of truth, and anything that you can't. I mean, I was watching Redacted, I think, with Clayton and Natalie Morris, right, the other day, yesterday, in fact, or last night, as I was dropping off to sleep. But I was watching that, and they were talking about. They were talking about censorship on YouTube that came in as a result of, 2020 stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But no, it didn't. It didn't. Because we've been talking about that. We've talked about this before on YouTube. Because YouTube got really censorious well before that. Because remember they started...
they did. It was about 2015.
Yeah, they started kicking out all the cryptozoology guys and all the mud flood guys and all the alternative history guys. And now, I'm not saying these guys were right or wrong, but they were fun to listen to, right? But YouTube started kicking them off the platform.
Sanitization, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, why? It's like flat Earth. You don't need to believe in it to find it interesting to listen to. Right.
Well, exactly. And I mean, there are flat Earth documentaries on Netflix. For God's sake.
There are. Yeah.
But you're absolutely. It started.
Well, Richard D. Hall, Alex Jones, they all got. I mean, Alex Jones, I understand to a degree because, I think he deliberately stirs trouble, right? I think he deliberately tries to up his. He deliberately tried to up his profile by getting in people's faces all the time and being quite obnoxious in his delivery. To be fair, I found him quite obnoxious in his delivery, right?
Okay.
But Richard D. Hall was a very well-researched and well-presented, purveyor
until Mariana turned up.
Of what he saw as the truth. And the thing
until Mariana turned up.
Yeah, but he went out and interviewed people and reported what they said and gave opinions as to what he thought the case was and wasn't, right? But he never told you what to think. You were supposed to make up your own mind.
But after what happened with Alex Jones and Sandy Hook, Mariana wanted to put that on Richard D. Hall and turn him into the next Alex Jones who did that. Didn't she? She turned up and she said, you've gone and harassed these families of the survivors of the Manchester bombing arena, and maybe he shouldn't have gone and tried to speak to these people. Maybe, but
how do you find the truth? If you don't speak to people, how do you find the truth?
But the question is, was that a reason to start censoring, banning? I mean, Mariana wanted legal action against him. She was encouraging these people to do what was done to Alex Jones, to Richard D. Hall. Is she just a troublemaker?
Well, see, this is the other thing, and part of this is like, see if you are a conspiracy theorist or branded as one, right? Or even if you're anti-treatment, okay, or branded as one, you always seem to have a more willing approach to listen to other arguments than the side who firmly believe that you are wrong and they are right.
I need to push back there.
No, you can't push back here, because nearly everybody who's on the side of you need to take it because it's for everybody's good, and nearly every one of them will not listen to any argument. They won't listen to flat earthers, right? Because all they'll do is browbeat them. They won't listen to mud flooders or whatever, because all they'll do is browbeat them. They won't listen to people that believe in UFOs, because all they'll do is laugh at them. This is the part I don't get. Why are these people so closed-minded? And the thing is, this exact same thing happened if your name was Copernicus, right?
Yeah.
You would be treated exactly the same way. Nobody would listen to you, and they'd just laugh at you and end up putting you in prison.
I agree with you, but then in the same breath, there are people on the extreme fringes of the other side who are exactly the same. So let's say the terrain theory people, the ones that are so staunchly, and you see them just abusing people.
Right, okay. I'm painting a broad brush here.
Yeah, I know.
Right, but
and
when you go to either side,
you'll
get extremes on either side. It's a bell curve to a degree, but the bell curve is shifted, right? And that there are more people willing to listen who are, let's just say, less mainstream. I think there are more less mainstream people willing to listen to other arguments than there are mainstream people willing to listen to the non-mainstream arguments.
Well, no, because I was kind of having this.
You disagree?
No. I agree. Right,
okay.
I agree. But I was kind of having this conversation earlier because a lot of people I don't even know how to paint us or them or anyone anymore, because are there really sides? I mean, are there? Because when it comes to a debate, when it comes to an argument, usually both sides have some merit. So are there really sides?
But see, this is the problem. This is what I'm saying, right? It's not that the fact there are sides, it's the fact if you are approaching it from the less mainstream background, okay?
Yeah.
These people seem to be prepared to listen more generally than those who are coming from the mainstream, who just completely override anything you've got to say and just say, no, you're wrong.
You're right.
Boom.
You're right. I mean, for example, I'll give you an example. Have you heard of Rachel Schrar? Rachel Schrar. She's another new, young, up-and-coming BBC journalist. And
yes, I have.
She just released her first report for BBC Newsnight on Friday. And it was an attack piece on one Stu Peters, wasn't it, John?
I haven't seen the report, but yes, it was. But having said that, I'm no fan of Stu Peters.
No, I think Stu Peters is a nut job. And I'll just say that. I think a lot of what he comes out with is just absolute bunk.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is,
he comes out with.
I'll listen to what he's got to say. Right?
Oh, me too.
But he's not convincing me with a lot of stuff. And in fact, there are a lot of people who come out with a lot of weird stuff. I mean, and we've been through it before. Like, all this Q stuff is I find it a bit far-fetched.
I find it funny. I've always found it funny.
Yeah,
I'm sorry if anybody believes it, but I find it funny.
And it's like all these military court tribunals. I'm sorry.
There was another one, wasn't there? An international arrest warrant has been issued.
Oh, but yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, but you're watching too many movies, people. You got to lighten up a little bit.
Yeah.
There isn't. Yeah. I don't think. I may be wrong, and that's part of it. I have an open mind. I may be wrong, right? But generally, I don't think there is a secret military cabal running our establishment. From deep underground bases.
I'm going to tell you something that's quite terrifying right now. Whilst we've been talking about this, I've refreshed my Twitter page, right?
Right.
And the first two people in You Might Like, I shit you not, Rachel Schreier and Mariana Spring.
That's because you've been talking about them.
They're listening.
No, your phone's listening to you.
Oh my God!
Of course it is.
That
Your
is
phone
quite
listens to everything you say.
Well, of course it does,
that,
but
I
that's
mean, I
terrifying.
might sound a bit crazy for saying that, but it does. And let's face it, companies have been caught out because Amazon's been caught out, Google's been caught out. They've all been caught out. They are listening all the time because they've got to, because they've got to listen for the trigger word. So they've got to listen. It's maybe a small step to then stick a little algorithm in there that just picks up on, baked beans, and the next thing you know, you're seeing an advert for HP or Heinz.
I mean, I've now just gone on Rachel's Twitter account, and it's pretty much her repeatedly retweeting her Stu Peters thing. It's like, this is the only thing I've done. Please go and watch it.
Yeah, I know.
But I actually responded to Rachel, and I said, you make a good point, Rachel. I said, that film, I think it's called Died Suddenly, is a load of bunk. And there are many, many factual inaccuracies in there. Like, he's included people who died long before things were rolled out, for example. Mm-hmm. But then I responded, but it's like, pot and kettle, isn't it? Because half of what the BBC comes out with on a daily basis is absolute crud and all.
Well, yeah, it is. Yeah.
It is. You can't. I was almost like getting the popcorn out because I'm thinking, it's just one BS artist calling out another BS artist.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I was hoping you'd interject, to be honest.
No, I was thinking about something and I've kind of lost my train of thought there. I'm quite tired and I apologise for that. So, tell me. Oh, I can see why you've maybe purchased a bat. But anyway,
yeah.
Tell me why RFK is being treated the same way as Bernie Sanders.
In what way?
Right. Okay.
As the pariah, perhaps?
Well, you'll like this.
Go on.
So RFK is standing for what party?
The Democrats.
Right.
Yes.
And he's outperforming who in the polls?
Is he outperforming Biden?
Well, he's at 21% now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, people are listening to that voice and going, I'm voting for that.
21%.
I'm going to be your president.
Right, okay. So,
yeah, I'm going to be your president.
But he's not been reported. They don't want him.
Of course they don't want him. They want Joe. They want their walking marionette, as I like to think of him.
Can you remember back to 2020 when Biden, or before 2020, 2018 or whatever, when Biden was running and Bernie was running, and Kamala was running, and Bernie was doing better than Joe.
Yeah.
Right. Kamala was nowhere, and yet.
Well, she was the first out.
Yeah, but all they would do was report on Joe and Kamala.
But yeah, because there was
Biden
a narrative.
was better.
Because there's a narrative, and there's a. I mean, I know people want to say it's kind of conspiratorial to say that there's a preset path, and I wouldn't say that so much as the media have picked their guy. The media have picked their guy, and Biden had made that promise right at the beginning, I believe, that if I am the nominee, my running mate will be a woman of colour. Right? Not because that woman of colour is best for the job or anything, but because Biden is probably, via his past actions, quite racist, and wanted to be seen to be not racist.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, one of his best friends was Bird. Remember Bird?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Grand Wizard of the KKK.
Well, I mean, the Democrat Party did invent the KKK.
But
An inconvenient truth, perhaps, but it's there.
but the point is, they had their guy, and obviously the only real candidate available was their girl Kamala, a woman who, in the first debate, by the way, called Joe Biden a racist to his face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and is now his vice president. So she really believed he was a racist. Then would she be his vice president? I mean, she didn't stand by a conviction then, did she? So
anyway, I find RFK's voice really unsettling.
Yes, John. We're gonna go to all the way to the White House, John.
It's not even like that. It's worse than that. It's worse.
I know. I can't do it. I can't even do that bad. I'm not gonna lie. I can't do that bad.
It's like, has he got damaged vocal cords or something? Because
I think he does.
Yeah,
he must do.
He must have. It must be. It's just really, really bad. But
it is.
Anyway, let's go back then to President Trump.
We're gonna build a big, beautiful wall.
So he was in Scotland.
Yes, is he still there? I think
he's gone to Ireland now. But anyway, somebody tweeted something the other day saying something's going on because you saw him it was at his resort in Aberdeenshire, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it had President Trump on the golf cart, okay?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not a big deal because once you're an American president, you're always an American president.
Absolutely, and you always afforded things like Secret Service detail.
And you're always called President Trump or President Carter or President Clinton. And of course, I said, I don't see the big deal, because the US always refer to them as president. And they said, over here we refer to them as former president. Well, no, we don't really, because one, it's his resort. So he's going to put whatever he likes on the bloody golf cart, isn't he?
Of course he is. Of course he is. I think
people, they pick out the tiniest detail and make an absolute mountain out of it, don't they?
Well, especially when it comes to Trump, yeah. Especially when it comes to Trump, because the media, right? So the media love to hate Trump, and do you know why they love to hate Trump? Because them hating Trump gets them clicks. They probably love Trump because Trump gets them so many clicks. In the background, they're going, "What's that man done next? Well, come on, Trump, do something else. Do something else, so we can pick it apart."
Did you ever watch The Apprentice when it was Trump?
Yes.
It was pretty good.
It was very good.
His apartment was awful.
Yeah.
It was so decadent and like over the top. The man has no taste, right? But it was so much like that it was funny.
Yeah, the boardroom was awful as well.
Alan Sugar, former East End barrel boy. And I'll tell you, what a wazzock. It's just...
Look, John, you didn't do as much as you could have done out there selling. All right? You didn't do as much as you could have done. You're fired.
It's just terrible. Sugar's just terrible. He really is.
Well, I will say that, yes, and Celebrity Apprentice kept, because it was mostly celebrities, he didn't do it with the general public really anymore. It was massively for charity in the last few years. Massively for charity. They raised, I think, millions of dollars for charity. But the Celebrity Apprentice was always good to watch. It was always entertaining. It was always fun. And, they drew some big name celebrities. It's a pity that Piers Morgan won, but, Broken Clock and all that. But you're right. It was entertaining. It was good. And I don't watch the BBC version. I watched like one season of it, and I was like, I can't stand him, and I can't stand the people that advise him. Whereas Donald just used his kids.
I met what's his name? The wee guy. What was the wee guy?
Which one?
Nick.
Oh, the one that does Countdown.
Yes, I met Nick. I met Nick at
I
met Nick at one of the Microsoft Burn Suppers in Edinburgh. I had a chat with him.
Nick Hewer?
Yeah, something like that.
I
He
want-
was all right. He was
Yeah.
actually all right.
Well, I tell you what, the one that I could not stand anytime my wife was flicking on The Apprentice was that bloody Claude Littner. Just
Whoa.
could not stand the man.
Family show and all that.
What?
John, read it back.
I'm just. I'm being pushed, boys and girls, pushed to swearing. I'm not going to swear.
Anyway, what are you going to talk to me about now? This is weird. I've run out. Well, I've got one thing left.
So let's do your one thing, because the last thing is actually.
I should have brought it up during the Ukraine thing with Zelensky, because did you see the protests?
No.
Or did you not? So apparently, all these mothers took to the streets in Ukraine,
Right.
protesting against the fact that he's pulling their kids out of. Oh, they're pulling their kids out of university and McDonald's and, you know, whatever, to throw them into the front line.
Yeah.
So, and they're all out chanting that Zelensky must go, basically. Didn't see that in the mainstream media.
Well, no, of course you didn't see that in the mainstream media, just as you don't see the military telegram channels that are saying, yeah, we're done with him. We're done with him. You don't see that in the mainstream media. You really, really, really don't. John, slightly off kilter, but could I share my screen with you? Could you make us full screen?
Yes, I can do that, my good man.
I want to show you something. Graphic-ish image, trigger warning, nothing violent or anything like that, nothing bloody or gory or anything like that. But if you get triggered by stuff, I hate that word, but then look away. Now, I guess I want to show you this. Can you see this?
Oh yes, that's I tell you what that is. That's either I was hit by an extremely fast squash ball or a rubber bullet.
That was a rubber bullet, and
Yeah,
this is independent journalist. You can take us back to normal screen now.
Or as we like to call them, a baton round.
Yeah, so this is independent journalist Jake Hanrahan. He's from the Midlands in the UK, and he suffered this wound on May the 1st in Paris. So got shot in the belly with a rubber bullet today whilst covering clashes in Paris.
Well,
not fun.
That's good. That's good, because you don't want to get shot in the eye, because that will have your eye out, mate.
Yeah, but think about it, right? I'm going to cover these on May the 9th.
You know what? I think. Well, you know what? Just take care.
Listen, I'm going to cover these on May the 9th, and considering my situation, my eye will be at about the level that his belly usually is.
Yeah. Well, you've got your helmet. Have you got a visor on?
I don't. Maybe I should fashion one.
I would no, don't fashion one. I would recommend a visor.
Ooh, okay. I will see what I can do. I'm also, if it gets very violent, I'm going to use my 4 mile an hour max speed to get the hell out of there, John.
Yeah, definitely.
Someone can play Benny Hill music. Harold says you need a visor.
You do need a visor, yeah.
Right. Well, in that second picture with Jake holding the bullet, he's got pretty much the same type of riot helmet that I do, and he's got press on the side of it. And he still got shot.
Yeah, because these things aren't terribly accurate, right? And they bounce as well. So what you normally do with a baton round is you fire it at the ground for it to bounce up and hit the person that you don't actually shoot the person.
Oh, these are French. They're shooting the people. You know that.
Yeah, but you know the thing is, if you fire at the pavement and it bounces, it can go anywhere. They're not designed. You're not targeting a person when you fire these things. You're just targeting a crowd. You know, it's a dispersal round. That's all it is.
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you would like to, if you follow me on Twitter at Disabled Journo, then you can, in a few hours' time, you'll be able to subscribe for exclusive content. And if anything like that goes down, videos will exclusively go there.
Content.
And you know, it's just you know, a little extra thing. And if anybody, I think it's going to be $3 a month. And if anybody would like to do that, you will get more. So let's move on then to a developing story, I guess, in Atlanta. It's happened again, John. It's happened again.
Yeah, you briefed me quickly on this when we had a call before the show. That there's been some kind of shooting event in Atlanta.
Yeah, we want to try and be careful about how we talk about it, because YouTube don't like you talking about these using colloquial terms and words, so I'll try and be a bit careful. Yeah. But this is from Raw's alerts. I'm just reading here. Atlanta police actively searching for the active gunman seen in this photo, and there are photos available all over Twitter, after he hit multiple people in the North Side Medical Building in Midtown Atlanta. One is dead at this point, and somehow he managed to get away.
Not so good.
No, not so good. Now, I thought we could have a little chat, because you know what's going to happen, and I know what's going to happen. The conversation will inevitably roll round to whether or not people should have rights to arm themselves or carry weapons. And so even Harold says in the chat, is it time for gun control? So I think he's being facetious, but every time this happens, that argument brews up. And as we were talking about earlier at the beginning of the show, I think both sides have merit. I do think both sides have merit.
Right. Well, okay. Hold on. Before you go into the both sides have merit thing, tell me how many people, right, have been saved in the UK by restricting handguns?
None, John, none.
Because what happens? Well, how do all these criminals get handguns, and how do they end up shooting each other? How does that happen?
Well, the thing is,
you're not allowed a handgun. How do these criminals get handguns?
This is the argument that I make this argument, because me and my wife my wife's very anti-arming yourself, and I'm very, to be honest with you, I think you should be able to defend yourself by whatever means. But the argument I always make is, these criminals here in the United Kingdom, there's a gun in every street, for God's sake. There really is here in the United Kingdom. They don't want to admit it. They don't want you to believe it or whatever. But at the end of the day, there is a gun in every street, and if a bad guy with a gun comes in your home in this country, how are you meant to defend against that? Because the bad guy, he doesn't care about the law. He's a bad guy breaking into your home. He wants to do stuff to you. You know, you can't bring a knife to a gunfight. I know that's an actual saying, but if they break into your home, they've got a gun, you're defenseless. There's nothing you can do. And yet, well, yeah, but you on a broad spectrum, as you were saying earlier. But so I certainly see the merits for being able to arm oneself for defence, and that defence doesn't just stretch to personal defence. That can stretch to defence of one's country against a tyrannical dictatorship. But
well, for instance, look at America with the Second Amendment, which is there.
Exactly.
It's not there to allow you to go hunting people. And this is the part that always gets me, right? Because they go, you don't need an assault rifle to go hunting, right? Although they would say it in an American accent. And the thing is, but the Second Amendment's not there to allow you to go hunting. Right. The Second Amendment's there to allow you to keep your federal government in check should they get out of hand. And if that's the case, then you're actually going to war against the government. And that's when you do need a weapon of assault.
So Spencer says in the chat, guns don't kill people. People with guns kill people. Just like gods don't kill people. People with gods kill people.
Huh?
I understand that. But
Yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah.
but also, you know, people will blame the gun. But in this particular situation, say in Atlanta, but it takes a finger to pull the trigger, does it not?
See, right, but yes, and I agree with you regarding the gun control thing, okay? And generally, I'm for firearms, okay?
But you're an ex-firearms officer.
Yeah, but
You're trained in them.
Yeah, but there's a problem in America that doesn't seem to exist anywhere else, right? Because when you look at the amount of people they've got and the amount of weapons and the amount of gun crime they have, it's through the roof.
I think you're absolutely right.
And yet, when you compare countries that have just as many firearms per head of population, their gun crime is way below that of America. There's something psychologically, or maybe not psychologically, but there is something wrong with the American psyche that there's too much gun crime considering. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's too many drug dealers. Because generally when you find these things...
Is it gang culture?
Oh, yeah. Maybe it is gang culture. I don't know. I mean, I think Latin America can be quite high up there. But even that can pale into insignificance compared to some of the gun crime rates in the States. And I mean, I can't remember now, but I did a big deep dive on this. Before I met you, but I did a big deep dive on it, and I had a whole Twitter thing on it on an account I no longer have.
I have spoken to somebody at Twitter about that. So perhaps you will have it back soon.
That would
hopefully.
be good. But anyway, so the thing is, there's definitely something different about America, because Canada has got nearly as many guns per head of population, or used to have, in fact, in some places it's like more, and yet their gun crime is in the books. You know, there's no gun crime.
I mean, let's face it. So one side of the river, you've got New York, where crime it's just increasing by the looks of it, and it's going through the roof. I mean, I saw a video earlier on of a guy just randomly popping someone in the street in broad daylight in New York. Bang, bang, bang. Guy managed to get away. Thankfully, I think he took one or two to the body, but he managed to run away. But that's in New York. But then you go to the other side of the river to Canada.
Yeah.
And people even say, a lot of people say to this day, you know, we don't have to lock our doors at night.
No, I know. It's crazy.
It must be something about, I don't know. Is it economic situation? Is it gang culture? Is it a combination of all of the above? We're not Americans. We are on the outside looking in. So
but
maybe it's something we just can't understand.
But the other problem with America is that it's so varied and so different, you know, between, not even from state to state, but within states.
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
county to county.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you look at New York City, and that's a cesspit, and then you go upstate New York, and it's like you're in the boondocks. You know, it's the Catskills, and you know, you're expecting to see a guy with a coonskin hat.
Yeah, no, yeah, of course. It is really weird, and don't get me wrong when we're saying this. Like, America's the place I want to die. It's where I want to be laid to rest. It's where I want to live out my days. I love the country, but there is clearly something in that psyche that we as Britons or Brits or even Europeans, I guess, just can't understand, because they do have, looking at their stats, an itchy trigger finger. They do.
Yeah, they do.
So we'll keep this to around an hour today. So if there, so it's nice and chilled. I did see earlier on, Trudy asked in the chat what time our Saturday show will be. Well, let's go through our Thursday and Friday shows first.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we'll let you know a confirmed time on Friday night, what time we'll start on Saturday. But has your costume arrived?
Yes. Indeed it has.
We have costumes. We have costumes.
And other accoutrements. I'm going all out.
You're not.
I am.
I stopped at one item.
I'm going all in.
Oh, Jesus. Am I going to have to up my game? Am I going to have to get something else?
No, you don't. I might unveil one of my other extra items on Friday night.
It's a dildo, isn't it, John?
Nah. God, man. Behave. This is a family show. Skiing in the Catskills. I nearly had a deer in the Catskills once. I was driving through the Catskills and Bambi jumped out in front of me. And
I nearly ran over a badger once on the A1, and it was like 4:30 in the morning, and it just came out of nowhere like a ninja. And I was the only one on the A1, so I was able to just swerve onto the other side of the road. But Jesus Christ, it was terrifying. It just came out of nowhere.
Right, anyway, is there anything else we want to cover then tonight before we start winding up?
I don't think there's anything wrong with that word, Adam. That word is a describing word for an actual physical item. They exist. They are real. You can purchase them at many adult and Amazon sites. So why on earth would that be a mark?
What's he going on about? What's he talking about?
He's saying that YouTube wouldn't like the word dildo.
Oh, right, okay.
It's just describing an item.
Medical appliance.
They exist. They're real. A medical appliance. Yeah, there you go. There you go. So Harold is trying to hurry us up so he can play a game with us by the looks of it. You can see there.
I don't know if I'll be on for long. I'm knackered.
Yeah, I will join you in about 15 minutes.
I think I went to bed at 9 o'clock last night.
Well, that's completely understandable. You know, I've been sitting up all day absorbing news and talking and watching the news and reading the news just so we could talk about today's items.
I was up at 7:30 and working by 8:30.
How's it coming along? Are we nearly? Are we near the final hurdle?
I'll take some more pictures and send them to you.
Well, I would like to.
I noticed the roller shutter. There's a roller shutter in front of the doors, right? Which is really good because it's electric and all that, so it's good. But it was broken. It was nearly broken. There's these nylon link things hold the roller, hold the shutters to the roller, right? And two of them were broken. And I said to the facilities manager, because we're not dealing with the council now, this is a private, this is private let. And it's cheaper than the council, right? And you got a much better service, right? Because I spoke to her this morning and said, I'm worried about the roller shutter, and the guy was there at 4 o'clock fixing it. And even said, that guy has saved you a lot of money, because if he hadn't noticed that, it would have cost you a fortune had it broken.
So you're in the good books.
Mm-hmm. I'm in the good books.
That's a good start. That is a good start. And with that, I want to get some housekeeping out of the way. If you've enjoyed the show, please click the like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate all of you that do these things. If you are feeling really saucy, you could hit that super chat button during any one of the shows and send us a little tip and pin your comment to the top. There's plenty you can do.
Or even better, Ko-fi or Patreon, because they take less of a cut.
Yes, they do, but those links are in the description, and we will be opening up our super fun channel memberships sometime within the next couple of weeks. We're working. on it at the moment.
We're working on that because we want to give you something. We want to give you something back in return for your memberships.
Of course we do. Of course we do. You know,
And we've
'cause
got
we
a
love you
plan.
and we wouldn't be.
Got a
We do.
plan.
We do have a plan, and it all came from me trolling a guy. But we do have a plan.
Yeah, it did.
So, with that, John, I will hand over to you to say goodbye to these fine
Well,
people.
before we do that, remember, tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, it's myself and Ed the Techie with Princess Diana.
Is that 9?
God rest her soul. At 9. Yeah, at 9. And on Friday night, it's me and Ben. And someone might be a year older on Friday night.
So you? Are we coming up to your birthday?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me.
I did tell you. I told you 2 weeks ago.
If you expect me to remember that far back? You've got a worse memory than Joe Biden sometimes, John.
So then there's Saturday. So what time are we on Saturday, Ben? I know nothing about this.
I don't even know what time Chucky's being crowned. We need to look that up.
You know, I mean, I did say this to Ben the other night. I said, look, mate, I'm working all day. A little bit of help.
You know what? For the last 2 days, I have been babysitting, essentially. Yes, my own children, right?
You know what that is, don't you?
That's the tiny violin, right?
Yes,
Put that
indeed.
way. Put that way. Because of the stupid school unions and their strikes and the like. Though tomorrow I am pretty much free all day, so I can work on some stuff or I can absorb more knowledge, like I've been doing all day today.
Good. Right, so so find out, your task tomorrow is find out what time we're on Saturday.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll let you know so you can let them know whilst I'm watching Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I can cope with that.
Yeah.
So when is Guardians of the Galaxy? Is it premiere tomorrow?
It was today.
Oh, hold on. How come they keep getting a day early every time?
It came out today. I'm
it
not
used
sure
to be
why.
Fridays. Then it was Thursdays, and now it's Wednesdays. What's going on?
Yeah, came out today. I actually had tickets to see it at 10:10 this morning, and then Cineworld cancelled the screening, so
Why?
I wasn't able to go. Beats me! But they cancelled the entire screening, so I wasn't able to attend.
That's weird.
So, yeah, it is. So I'm going tomorrow night at 10 to 8. So I will report back on whether or not it's any good.
So the last thing I saw from Guardians of the Galaxy was the start of the Christmas special, which I never completed because I found it
quite like that.
tiresome
I did quite like that.
and really, really annoying.
See, I did quite like that. I think it's one of I think the two best things that Marvel have made for Disney Plus so far are the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special and the Werewolf by Night.
Werewolf by Night was okay, but the Guardians of the Galaxy, okay.
Andrew, we're gonna have to we're gonna come back to you about that. We are gonna come back to you about that. I promise.
And it won't be called that. That's for sure.
It won't. We are renaming, but yeah, we will come back to you as Foreign Secretary. Don't you worry about that.
So with that,
John.
With that, I'd like to thank you, one and all, for attending this episode 218 of Chasing Dissent Live with me, John, and with Ben. And it's been great for you.
For you.
You can see the writing on the pavement. Young kids, they're growing up in basements. Online, a whole new generation. I'ma make mine, so you better go take it. Always, they need a new replacement. Decentralized, can't contain it. We're changing lives, yeah, upgrading. Call it suicide of the older generation. Too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it.
What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah.